Yeah, this is great to have you on. I have the advantage of having a few different email accounts, so I jumped on and a couple different YouTube channels and searched you out in South Florida, and you beat out South Florida real estate. You came up number one organic, and you are ahead of all the news channels and so much more.
Awesome.
So you're
I didn't know
phenomenal.
that, but that's
Yeah,
that's thanks, man. I did not know that. I just, I put my head down, do my real estate, gonna go shoot a video tomorrow. I just got to keep putting them out there. It's like it's a process, and just I'm sure we'll get into it, but yeah, I haven't had a chance to look, but that's exciting news to hear. I hadn't heard that, so thank you so much.
yeah. And I picked the right words, so it just popped right up. So
Cool.
that's not totally by accident. You've been digging into this for quite a while. How many years have you been on YouTube?
I think I really started playing with the camera around 2018, right around
Okay.
there, maybe 2017, just like came with the idea of, I got my license in 2013 and doing all the stuff that normally people do, right? Real estate, knock on doors, open house, all this stuff. And then I started to see some people making videos on Facebook, and funny videos and interesting videos and fancy videos. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And I thought, but that was like 1 minute, right? You had a minute. And I was like, I started looking at YouTube, and I was like, what if I just made some videos on YouTube, and maybe someone might see it and go, hey, I like Florida. I'm sick of the snow. Let's move there. And it worked. Started getting phone calls once I started to hone in on better videos and more consistency. Consistency was the big thing that really changed the channel.
So you're now highly edited and you're buffed up. What you put out,
Yeah,
the content you're putting out is phenomenal.
thank
I
you.
did not go to number one because it was like 400 something videos ago. So how has that changed since you first started?
Oh man. Well, I get business from it. I have the opportunity to meet people like you, which is truly like exciting for me that people actually have me come on and talk about it. That's super cool. I actually had a call today from CBS News, which was kind of exciting. They saw one of my videos and had some questions. It opens doors for me that I would never have had open as a regular realtor. And, the first years were slim, and it took a year and a half before I really got my first lead. But by that time, I had knocked out all the mistakes really and sort of got honed in on making videos. And then COVID hit. And we all know what happened then, right? People were just stuck at home watching, TV and reruns and whatever that they could consume. And YouTube was huge. That's when people started to catch on and look at my videos and be like, hey, I want to move to Florida. Florida's, a little bit open, more relaxed with the whole COVID thing, however you want to look at that. But it rang the phone, man. People started calling me.
And your style is very natural. It's very much you. Did you just have your phone out, or just have a camera? What were you using?
I'm drawing a blank on a GoPro, an old like a GoPro Hero 5. And the Hero 5 back then, if you walked up the stairs, the video went like that. So it didn't look good. So then I went and bought a Canon. And then when I got a Canon, I had to get a gimbal. So I kind of played with some of that. But I ended up, most of what I do now, shoot on a Leica, and it's on a little stick, and it works perfect. It's got a wide angle lens and do all that. I never really used my cell phones. When I first started, I don't think the cell phones were that good. They were okay, but they've obviously gotten better.
You're still shooting your own video.
I shoot and edit everything myself. I have someone who will come and hold the camera for me every once in a while and do some videos, which has helped make it a little easier to talk and walk around and get a different angle. And then I'll hire a friend to do some drone shots for me. I'm presently working at getting my own license. I say that with a little chuckle because I've been working at that license for 4 years, because it's like just the most boring class you're ever going to take in your life is to get certified for a drone license. And I'm not very good at sitting in front of a computer and watching a class.
Right.
And that's what I have to do. So for 4 years, I've been putting it on and off. This year I said I'm going to get that stupid license. But yeah, and then I edit my own videos. I'll sit home on a Saturday, grab a beer, and
That's a lot of time.
yeah, well, look, my kids are grown up, me and the wife, Saturday I'm not out knocking on doors doing stuff. I have an open house that's usually 12 to 2 and I'm done. So I'll sit home, put my video on the computer. I'll grab a beer, a drink, sit down and just knock out a video real quick. Sometimes it takes a little while to do it, but I kind of like the process of doing it because I'm in control. I have a lot of friends who make videos, and when they have someone else do the editing, either you have someone on staff that you pay a lot of money to and they're really good and you trust them, or you're sending it to someone overseas and hoping they're going to do a good job.
Right.
And some do and some don't. And then if they don't and you get it back, now you don't have a video for Sunday morning. So the only one I have to blame for not having a video at 10 o'clock Sunday morning is myself.
So you post every Sunday morning?
At 10 a.m. Yeah, that's what I've been
And
doing.
how does that work? Has that something you've tested and you come up with at Sunday?
Yeah, my analytics show that my people tend to watch on Sunday between a certain time. My audience, I know my core audience, 49% of my viewers are 65 years and older. 24% are 45 to 55, I think is what it was, or something like that, or 55 to 60. And there's a few under that. No, 20-year-olds aren't watching me. I'm 59. They're not watching me.
Right.
Even 30 and 40-year-olds aren't really watching. Some will, or they'll watch and just go, who's this old guy? What's he doing? Who does he think he is? But most of my viewers are of my age or older. They have cash. They've bought a house before. They don't, it's not their first rodeo. And they just want to know what it's like to live in South Florida. And then they reach out to me and say, hey, we saw your video. We want to come down there.
One of the things we talk about a lot on this show is leveraging time, leveraging people, leveraging systems. And here you are crushing it with all these views. You do a lot of that work yourself. How do you manage to do the business?
Yeah. I put it in for me. It's like someone like a Keller Williams agent or any agent. I'm making phone calls from 9 to 12. Don't call me. Wife, don't call me. I'm not going to answer my phone from 9 to 12. I'm prospecting on the phone.
Yeah.
On Saturday, don't bug me. I'm in edit mode. I'm putting a video out. I'm having sitting here enjoying myself. I'm knocking that video out. Those calls that they make may not get a listing, but once they make those calls, they know that they're probably going to repeat those calls somewhere. Whereas I make that Saturday, I get that video out. I put that video out. The call I got from CBS today was from a video that I put out almost a year ago. So my stuff
Wow.
goes out there. So my video is making phone calls for me every single day, 24/7. So that's how I justify it. I was sure it takes a little bit of time, but I put a video out Sunday and I had 6. I have a QR code now, and I started using the QR code. I had 6 people scan my QR code, which are now in my database because it's a landing page, and they all asked for buyer's guides about moving
That's
down
fantastic.
here. That's 6 leads in one day. I mean,
Yeah.
and I didn't pay anyone for those leads.
And that's
So
after, and you're off on Sundays, right? Or you're not doing,
yeah,
you're not,
yeah. I work whenever. I mean, if there's business, I'm going to be out there working. If it's an
yeah.
open house, or they want to see, yeah. But yeah, I mean, and I'm building a team now, so I'm looking at building a team and getting, try to get a step back a little from production, but still keep doing it and stuff. So that's part of my goal. But yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but I mean, it's no more than other people doing what they do on the day.
What other kind of support do you have outside of the film, doing the videos?
What type of support?
Do you have
Oh
an
yeah. I have
operation?
an in-house. Yeah, I have a transaction coordinator, and then I work really closely with my broker. I work for a boutique office in Delray Beach called True Floridian Realty, and my broker and I are very very close, very tight. She hired me, and I worked there. And then during COVID, I left for 3 years, and then I came back, and that's when we said, "Look, let's build a team for you," and do that. So we work a lot together. And then I have the transaction coordinator handle all that. So yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that transition from Floridian. You left and now you're back. What pulled you away and what brought you back?
I was like, okay, I never worked for one of the big corporate flags, like you want to say. And so I said, I had a friend, I'm still friends with this gentleman. He's not there anymore, but he's coaching now. And he said, yeah, come check it out. You're doing a lot of good stuff with social media. So, and at that time, it just felt right. I was like, kind of like, stepping away from the family business and just seeing what it's like to work for corporate. That's kind of feel that where I work is like a family business. And I did 3 years and it was interesting. I had some fun with it. I made some friends. I had some good times and stuff. I didn't need all the basic training that they provided because I'd already had that training. I'd been well established at that point. But it was interesting. It was neat to work from that side of the business and, as far as a big company and see what it's like. But then, I got in that 3rd year and I don't need to worry about this. I can go back to this company, get a higher cut rate, a higher split, and and still doing the same thing. And people are buying me. Like they're watching my YouTube channel. They don't care if it says this company, that company, or that company.
Right.
They're either buying into me or they're not. And it doesn't matter
That's
what
right.
flag I was like. So I just went back and then that's happy. And then I was promoted to vice president about 2 weeks ago. And now I'm building a team. So yeah, it was a good move.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
Does
Yeah.
that come with responsibility being the vice president?
It's a business, smaller boutique, right? It's a smaller business. We're in a great city in Delray Beach, very popular, it's becoming quite a luxury city, as I said in the real estate roundtable I was at today. And so there's a lot of opportunity there for, pretty pricey homes if you get into that, the luxury. And there's still some other places, but yeah, it's I like working there and I'm trying to build it. So what my goal is, where the broker and she's very much compliance and contracts and all that. I'm very much marketing. And my goal is like, hey, look, I know we've kind of always kept it sort of a small team, small office, about 47 agents. I really want to grow the company. I want to grow the company to have more full-time agents, full production, maybe another person come in, have a team and grow the company. So, and she likes that. And she's allowing me to look at ways to grow the office and stuff and hopefully build it to a bigger brand. And then even eventually maybe build it to where we have an office on the west coast of Florida and stuff.
Okay,
So
wow.
yeah, so it's exciting. So yeah, I get a little bit of responsibility, but again, it's still her company
Yeah.
and stuff.
No, that's great. She's giving you reins. So how are you attracting agents? What's going to be your method of doing that?
I think a lot of agents are burnt out with just the old way of things. I mean, we are brick and mortar. I know there's a lot of companies out there that are still are a lot of companies that have moved to the EXP model, right? The real brokerage. I have a ton of friends at real brokerage, and that's great. Some agents that works for. There's still a lot of agents that do like to have an office to come home to, maybe sit in the office, have that presence. I think obviously, commission splits and desk fees. A lot of companies are nailing agents right now with a lot of fees. I know a lot of people who've left some brokerages because they just don't want to pay these fees. They're not seeing the value in it. Working with agents and just, we're not looking to just recruit a bunch of agents and make that our business. Sure, we want to grow the business a little bit, hopefully bringing them into a company that's really got more of a hands-on approach. Like we're there, like my broker is always there to answer my question or any of the agents' questions. Also trying to show them how social media, because I have a lot of experience with my social media. I think being my age and taking a channel and growing it is something that I could pass on to a younger person. And then, just really trying to show them that it's a smaller boutique business. Really, you're not lost in the folds of like a big company that I've seen a lot of agents kind of come on board and they just get lost.
Yeah.
So
So what is the value besides split? Because I know that does matter. It's not always the big draw. It shouldn't be the big draw to a firm. If the firm
yeah,
is doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can make as much money as you want. So what other value do you guys offer?
well, I think, doing the lead generation, showing them that social media is a great source for lead generation. I mean, it's like I told you, I got this 6 leads this weekend myself. I firmly believe that if you can help someone do social media right now, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, and I don't have the time for those. I strictly stick to my YouTube, but showing them the proper way to do it and find the content that you can talk about that they can get out there. And I've seen friends that are doing it. So I know it works. And I know that it's working for me. It's kind of sharing them with that and giving them that ability to like, hey, look, here's what you do. Like, as I've done this now, I can kind of say, okay, here's how you want to build a channel. I've learned the mistakes of what not to do and made the changes over the years. So I could start them off on the right foot, how to start their own, channel or whatever platform they want to go and do that. So I think having that ability to work with an agent and offer that to them, I think, especially in this market, can be a real benefit. I know a lot of people and they can hire their own people if they get to that point. So
Sure.
I'm a little, I guess, control. I like doing my own editing. I know people like, why don't you just farm it out? I like knowing that what I put out is my product and that I made the final. So I haven't released that yet. We'll see. Maybe when I get a team, as the team grows, I already got one agent. I'm looking at bringing on a second. If I get to that point, I may have to find a good editor, and I'll start talking to some of my other buddies around Florida who have good editors and get a recommendation.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool. So do you do any other kind of lead generation, or is this it? Just you?
Oh yeah, I have been going after expireds all week. I go after expired listings. I'm actually going after FSBOs. As the market is slowing down in South Florida in some areas, the whole properties are sitting on the market much longer, and I think the FSBOs are finding that it's not selling like they thought it would, and they need someone who can dedicate the time and marketing to it. So I've been going after for sale by owners, and just had a meeting with my broker about the expireds that I went after. Matter of fact, we just picked up a $1.7 million listing from an expired. I went after it. We teamed up and we got the listing. So we're just doing the follow through. It's a process. I do maybe go do a door hanger on one neighborhood, which, I'm not afraid of hard work. I went down. It was a nice Saturday, had my phone on, music, went door to door, left some door hangers with some information, followed up. I sent postcards to him, following up with a letter. Just as if anything, it's consistency. You got to keep touching them. And I'm targeting waterfront properties, communities that have boat docks and access to the ocean. Because that's kind of a thing that I like the boat shows this week, South Florida. So I'm going to be going to the Palm Beach County Boat Show and this week, and some of my buddies are boaters over there. So I have a passion for that. So I'm trying to reach out and do that. So yeah, I do that. And then, like, I was at the Chamber of Commerce this morning for the Realtor Roundtable. I'm starting my own networking, not networking, my own, yeah, I should say, but it's a networking event. So not networking group. I used to host networking events for years. It was called Brews and Business Networking. I used to host them at all the microbreweries. Microbreweries are slowly dying. It's not a fad anymore, but there's still some around, thank
Really?
God. Yeah, I like them, but a lot of them are going out of business, unfortunately, because people just finding other things to do, but there's still some around. But I'm going to be partnering with some of the restaurants. I'm still going to do that. So I'm looking at doing my networking events again and starting to do that to not only network with people, but now I have a reason, because when I used to host them, a lot of realtors would come and I was like, well, I don't want realtors to come. I want other people. Now I want more realtors to come because I'm like, hey.
Tell me about that, the networking. How does that look like? What's that look like? You buy everybody a beer, or how
No,
you
I
get it?
partner with I asked the people that are where we're hosting it, said, hey, look, I'm going to do a network event. I'm going to bring people. If it's a bar, they can typically, first drink's free, right? House drink. You ask them, hey, give me a ticket. I'm expecting this many people to come, 50 people. I'll have them get a blue ticket. You give the first drink free. I'll advertise your place. I'll put it on my Facebook and put it out there. And so they'll come to that event. They'll get their free drink and then they can network. Maybe you get a sponsor, maybe a mortgage broker or someone says, hey, I'll sponsor some food, and they'll buy some hors d'oeuvres or bring in pizzas or whatever. And then with the microbreweries, it can be a little harder to microbrewery because, their beer isn't as cheap as, the house liquor. Right. And so, but they have like usually a small beer that maybe they
Yeah.
get that for a small beer, a little 5-ounce glass. Maybe they do something like that. And then, they can get the next beer. They buy the next beer, which is a full pint, which is, $7 or whatever. So I'm still working the details out on that.
So to get 50 people there, how long did it take you to get up and running to get that kind of traction with people who show?
Well, I started this years ago. I mean,
Okay.
I started my networking thing. I did it for 10 years, I think, maybe going off, and it got to where it was just I got burnt out on it, especially after COVID. It started to seem like people weren't as interested, but
Yeah.
it's died off. And it's not just me, but a lot of places, it's sort of died off. I'm sure, as you've been through business like I have, that was how we did business. We went to network events, you networked and you met
Yeah.
people, and then sort of different went away with the world of, everyone, heck, you and I would go to a bar and talk to a girl, and that's how we met them. Now they just swipe left or swipe right, right?
Right.
It's like on an app. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think people are craving that being back and face to face contact again. I think there's more people that are looking for that. I've had quite a few people when I mentioned it said we would love if you would do a networking event again and get out. So give it a shot. I'm going to try to do maybe a little spin on it where if I do some events, try to do some things where maybe I get them to either bring something for like the food bank, because we sponsor a food bank. Maybe say, hey, come out. If you do this, bring 3 cans, get a free beer or something. I'm working out the details, but
Yeah.
I want it
Yeah.
to be a little different this time where I can give back to the local charities.
You have multiple pillars that you're leaning on. You have YouTube, you have your networking event that's coming up. You
Yeah.
have expireds, door knocking, basically working door to door.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing how many units you're closing a year?
I'm not big. I'm not huge production. I did 15 last year. So,
Okay.
and my goal this year is to do 25. I've always just been on my own. So the numbers aren't as huge, but that's what they are. So I'm not going to inflate it and,
Right.
tell you, oh, I did 50 units. Sure. Would I like to? But, as I grow, hopefully I'll get there. Last year was good. We liked it to have been a little bit better, but towards the end of the year, I did some really nice sales and then it kind of slowed down. Last year was a transition. I was really pushing myself to get into more luxury. So I was able to get a couple $1 million plus transactions, which was nice. And I'm
Okay.
trying to push into that market more this year, but it's a tough market. I mean, you really have to be dialed in and you really have to know the market. So
Yeah.
it's not as easy as just, hey, I'm going to sell a $5 million property, because there's a bunch of people that have sold $55 million properties and you're competing against them. So, but yeah, and this year's been slow. This year, it's a weird year right now. I have about 4 listings right now. Actually, I got one more that was just signed for a condo. We're waiting to get some photos done, and then we got the other listing I just said. The one's really nice for just under 1.8. But it's been a market, man. For me, it has been. I've had to hustle. I've had to go out and, like I said, go do back to door knocking. They used to ring a lot more, and as this year, people just for whatever reason. Insurance is high in Florida. That's an issue with
Yeah.
Florida right now, that homeowners insurance, the rates are what they are. So, but I'm of that generation. It's like, okay, it's not going to land in my lap. I'm going to go, and I've been that way my whole life. So I'm going to make a video. I'm going to get business off that. I sent 4 emails today from that. People contact me and I'll go to door to door, and then I'm going to follow up with that. And I think I fully believe, I know the process works. I know for a lot of agents, they don't realize this. The process works because it's always worked for generations. It's a numbers game. You just got to be reaching the people. And I know all those cards and all those door hangers and all those postcards and all that. Someone's going to see it. They're going to go, hey, we got your information. We want to talk to you. Come list our property. And then I'm going to have a $3 million waterfront property and I'm going to have a big old smile on my face.
And I'm sure they once they see you on their doorknob, they're going to start seeing you wherever else you are, whether it's on YouTube or social media. You'll start to pop up, I'm sure.
It's funny how many people will come up to me and say, you're that guy that makes videos. And I would never suspect that they were like, and they're local. And I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. I hope, and I'm like, God, I hope they don't think I'm a tool. Maybe they like, say, oh, you got good stuff. We like it. So
That's good.
Let's see. Yeah, it's interesting. And, one of my condos that I have for sale was really quiet the first 2 weeks. And I made a video about the city and the condo, told the owner. And in that week, we had 5 requests to see the property. And I don't know if that was because of my video, but it was pretty interesting that it was dead quiet. I made a video. And then the Monday after the video popped on that Sunday, we had 5 showing requests to see the property. So
I noticed you mix in property specific videos with area videos. How do you, is that still one a week and you just switch up what you're doing?
Yeah, I find like the video I just did. So it depends on what's going on. News stories that are really worth covering. What made my channel really grow to it just reached 27,000 on Monday. What really made it grow was December 16th, 2023. I released a video about the condo crisis. And I saw what was happening with condos. I saw that the HOA fees were going from 300 to 700. Insurance was going up 300% for some of these condo buildings. And assessments started to pop out. And all this started to happen out of the tragedy that happened with the Champlain Towers in Miami. So I made a video. I just saw it. I made this video. The video went ballistic. It went viral. It's like 1.8 million views now. And my channel gained it took me years to get to 5,000 subscribers. And I hit 12,000 subscribers in 2 weeks. It was insane. So that really changed it. So I realized that people want information out there. There are a certain audience that will watch. I have a friend that has a very successful business, hugely successful. And he just does really fancy luxury tour videos of his properties for his listings. They're cinematic. They're some of the best in the industry. And he's very successful at it. And then some people want general information. They want to know what's going on. They want to know what's happening. So my videos were sort of a mixture of a house tour mixed with the neighborhood or the city. So if someone's coming down and they're like, hey, I like that house. What's nearby? I'm showing them a local restaurant. I'm meeting the owner of that restaurant, kind of saying, hey, I'm going to feature your restaurant. By the way, here's my card. I'm a realtor. If you need anything, right? They kind of do that little handshake. And then I'm featuring the area and where they can go and events like, hey, this weekend's the air show. It's a great place. You can see the air show from your backyard if you wanted to watch it. So I talk about stuff like that. But then this weekend's video was about the condo situation, about everyone going back up to Tallahassee, all the politicians, and obviously the big question, what are they going to do about the condo crisis? And so some of the things that we talked about in the video were some of the laws that they're thinking of trying to get passed that could help that situation. Well, that video, I kind of knew it would be. As I said, when I was editing it, I told my broker, said, this is going to be a good video. This one's going to do well. There's a video I did a week before, hit 600 views. This video, when I just checked before I came on, is at 85,000 views. And that's the one that I got 6 leads off of. Nice. So because it was a video about a topic that everybody's wanting to watch or hear about right now.
Sure.
So I mix it with that information. And then sometimes tomorrow's video is going to be about all the money coming into West Palm Beach. We've got so much money coming in there. We've got all these new high-rise condos. Some of them are starting at 5 million, going up to 45 million. There are so many billionaires, millionaires moving here, wealth management companies. West Palm Beach is just exploding right now. There's a big thing with private clubs opening up again. So I'm going to be featuring a video talking about West Palm Beach and what's happening with that.
Yeah, I was there in 1996 or 7. That's great to hear that. It's booming.
Yeah, it's incredible, all the stuff that's going on down there right now. So that's what I try to do. I try to think about the news worthy stories to educate someone who's thinking about moving here, a little bit of drama, just because that helps with analytics, but really giving them information about what it's like to live here. And it's great because like they said, they'll call me and go, I had a guy reach out to me and he saw my video about West Palm and he goes, hey, you seem to really know West Palm Beach. I'm looking for a $4 million condo. I'm trying to sell my business first, but you're my guy. And he came down with his doctor buddy and we toured properties. So I never dealt with a $4 million buyer before. So
that's fantastic. So you seem to, your your statistics very well as far as your metrics on how you're performing and your videos are performing.
Yeah.
How often do you look at that?
Oh, daily. I want to know if my video's dropping off in the first 30 seconds. If I don't do something that grabs their attention and they drop off, I can lose 30-50% of my viewers. So I want to make sure that I'm trying to get a startling statement or something or a video clip that's capturing them to keep them on. When you do a
So
thumbnail,
when that happens, though, can you go in and mess with the video? Do you change it?
not once it's
Pull it?
uploaded, you can't. It's uploaded.
Okay.
So all you can do is learn from your mistakes. In the beginning, I did, a lot of realtors did these fancy intros that showed me in front of a Ferrari and look at this. And it had some cool music and you had a flashy Palm Beaches Paul. That's 30 seconds. Every person watching that video, with the exception of a few, probably realtors who were going to say, I'm going to copy that. They clicked off your video and went to the next video. I was
I used to do that.
losing people left and right.
Yeah.
And I watched and I listened to professionals that said, don't do it. And I went straight to, hey, if I could show you how to get a condo for almost nothing in Palm Beach with a view of the ocean, would you want to know about it? Today, we're going to talk about it. Boom. You've hooked them. They're going to watch, but then you got to go right into something good. So I'm still learning. There's some things I'm still learning. I'll edit a lot of stuff out. Like I edited on this video. I had talked about something and I said, that was way too long. It's boring. Cut it out. You're going to lose your audience. And it worked because this video has great retention. The click-through rate on the thumbnail started out at 13.8%, which is super high. That's in the thumbnail for anyone watching or listening is like your poster for a movie, right? When you're walking to the movie theater and you're going to your seat and you're like, ooh, I'm going to see that movie. That's a blockbuster. I'm not missing that this summer. That's what a thumbnail is. And if your thumbnail catches their attention, well, mine was getting 13.8% and then it dropped down to like 8. And I think it's sitting at 6.5 because the video's been up for 3 days, but it's still doing better than average. It's still doing pretty well. So I'm still getting the people watching and they're watching the video like 50% view rate. So that's pretty good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's very good.
It's fun. Yeah. It's taken me a while. You hear I'm a little passionate about it. It's fun. I mean, it's fun. You make a video, you get to go out there and then people call you and want to buy a property. I mean, and I know the market's going to turn around. So all these videos that I'm putting out, once the market gets better, maybe with those interest rates do come down, I got a phone. Surely my phone's going to be ringing off the hook because they're already watching me. They're just waiting.
Yeah. And so for a new agent getting into this, what kind of investment do they need for the camera or the gimbal, or do they need to start out with that?
Cell phone, man. Cell phones are so good now. You do need a hand, something to hold the cell phone.
Yeah.
You need a little tripod with everywhere you can get them, and hold your cell phone. You need some editing software, unless you're going to pay for an editor yourself, which you could do. And you need a good mic, really good mic, because people will drop a video. It doesn't matter if it's the most cinematic video in the world, man. If they hear wind noise and garbage and they can't hear you, they'll drop the video.
Yeah.
So you have to have a good mic, and if they can hear you, and those are pretty cheap these days too. You can go out and get a good mic, like $250. You can get a Rode, or DJI has a really good one actually. DJI, get some mic mini. It's a new one that came out, and then then you just got to get out and don't. And then the biggest advice I'll tell you is don't give a crud what anyone thinks. Make that video. You're going to have haters. I could care less. They're not making the videos. I am. They're sitting and go, what a buffoon. I said, yeah, what a buffoon. I just got a $4 million client because I made a video. Who's a buffoon?
Right.
Don't listen to the haters, man.
Yeah.
I'm old and not young and handsome and all that, and I can do it. They can get out and do it, which is what I was talking to some of the new recruits about when I was at one of the career days. And I said, yeah, come work over here. I can show you how to make videos.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's what else am I going to do? Pick up the phone and spend all eight hours a day on my phone and have people hang up on me? I mean, you can, but South Florida's pretty. I'd rather be outside making a video. And then people go, what are you doing? Oh, I'm a realtor. I make videos.
No.
Oh, you got a card? Here you go.
You're not going to get 6 leads dialing the phone like that in one day, typically.
If you're really good at it, I'm just not really good on the phone. I've always been better in person.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. This has been great, Paul.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think for anybody watching, you've just demystified quite a bit of being on YouTube. So many people pushing the high-end gear, and you've just made it so simple. And I hope somebody's taking this and putting it to work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a gadget guy, so I like some of the toys. I've got a shelf over here of stuff that most of it I don't use. I just grab my regular camera and my mic and go out. But, occasionally it's fun to have some of the if you want, look, that's what you want to buy. But absolutely, you can start with the phone. and a good mic and go out and start uploading videos. The hardest part of it is doing the editing. Really, it takes a
Yeah,
while to figure editing out and make sure that you're doing it right. And, but it can be done. I self-taught myself. So if I could do it, trust me, you could do it.
fantastic. Paul, thanks for coming on the show.
Joe, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank
If
you so much.
somebody wants to reach you, what's the best way? I can put the number down
Yeah.
below.
So the YouTube channel is it's really easy. You see it on there, Palm Beaches Paul. If you type that in, I'll pop up, and all my contact information is there. You can shoot me an email to palmbeachespaul@gmail.com, and my phone number is on there if you want to reach out and all that. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I appreciate it. If you're an agent watching and you want to do referrals, let's talk, and I appreciate it. And thanks for the opportunity to be on here. I really appreciate it, Joe.
All right, and viewer, subscribe. We're putting material out weekly with some
Yeah.
phenomenal guests, just like Paul. So subscribe, like, share, and comment. Do your best and have fun.